Hello, everyone, and today we are reading chapter 6 of Daisy Dawson at the Beach. Rescuing Rabbits. Without stopping to think, Daisy put her mask back on and swam as hard as she could towards the cliffs. Daisy, Daisy, shouted the little rabbits. When they saw her, "We're over here, so I see," said Daisy, stumbling out of the water. "What on earth are you doing here? It was Raspy's idea," said Roberta. "I said we should wait until you came back, but Raspy said it would be all right because he was the best rabbity wave rider in the whole wide world." "I am too," said Raspy. I don't think so," said Roberta. "The best rabbity wave riders don't crash into the rocks, Raspy." "I don't understand," said Daisy. "You don't have a surfboard." "I did," said Raspy, pointing to a piece of wood that was lying next to the rocks, but it snapped. "You went surfing on that?" "I wouldn't call it surfing," said Roberta. "More like sinking." Daisy looked at the rising water and remembered that the two little rabbits couldn't swim well. It was up to her to save them. "Climb onto my back," she instructed. "I'm going to wade past the rocks and then swim around to the beach. Whatever you do, don't let go, okay?" "Okay," said Raspy and Roberta. Daisy knelt down and they scampered up onto her shoulders. "All set?" Daisy asked as their little paws clutched at her hair. "All set," said Raspy and Roberta. "Okay," said Daisy. "Then let's go." As the water came up to her waist, Daisy took a deep breath, pulled down her mask, and launched herself forward into the ocean. The rabbits clung to her neck, and Daisy could feel them shivering. "Are we nearly there?" whispered Raspy. "I need to go and check on my carrots." "Soon," said Daisy, trying to reassure him. But although she was a strong swimmer, she began to worry that the little rabbits wouldn't have the strength to hold on much longer. The sun was still behind the clouds, and the beach was far away. As Daisy looked around, all she could see was the dark water around her and gray skies above her. Then ahead of her, a shaft of sunlight broke through the clouds. Daisy thought of home then, of her best friend Boom, and the sun-bright meadow behind her house. As the water sparkled and shone like 1,000 diamonds, Daisy remembered what Boone had said to her before she left. "If you swim toward the sun, you'll find your way home." For some reason she couldn't explain, Daisy began to feel braver and stronger. Then, as she swam closer to the sunlit water, Raspy shouted, "Look down there!" Daisy noticed that something was moving beneath them. It gradually rose up from the depths of the ocean, faster and faster. Then suddenly, Daisy felt herself being lifted out of the water. As she looked down, she realized to her surprise that she was on the back of a dolphin. "Oh!" she cried happily. "Where did you come from?" The dolphin flicked its tail, created a wave, and swam smoothly into calm waters. "I wanted to meet you," said the dolphin when it spoke. Daisy thought it was like listening to the most beautiful music she had ever heard. "I wanted to thank you for telling the crabs I was in trouble. They came in their hundreds to free me from the net. And so now you must tell me what I can do for you in return." "Could you take us back to the beach?" asked Daisy. "If it's not too much trouble." "For you, nothing is too much trouble," replied the dolphin. "But perhaps you would like to come for a ride first." "Yes, please," whispered Daisy. As the dolphin leaped through the waves, Daisy held on tightly and watched the water rushing past her. But although they were moving at a great speed, the dolphin swam so smoothly that Daisy felt as if she were sliding through the fields of blue silk. High above her, the clouds gave way to clear skies, and Daisy felt the warm sun on her back once again. Then, as they splashed across the top of the waves, Raspy and Roberta squealed with delight, and Daisy turned to see tiny rainbows dancing in the spray all around them. "They've got green grass in them," shouted Raspy, pointing at the bright colors shimmering above the sea, and yellow sun, and blue sky, and everything. Far below them, tiny fish swam through secret caves and played hide and seek in the forest of blue and gray seaweed. As the dolphins turned back toward the shore, a group of swifts flew alongside them, skimming the bright water before soaring up into the summer sky. Daisy thought of Flopperton, sitting at the window sill and dreaming of rainbows. "That was wonderful," she said, as the dolphin stopped in the shallow water. She stroked the dolphin's smooth back and stared out toward the horizon. "The ocean is very big," she whispered. "You'll be all right out there on your own?" "I won't be on my own," said the dolphin. "Listen." Daisy leaned sideways until her ear was touching the water, and from somewhere far away she heard the faintest of clicking sounds. She smiled. "Are those your friends?" The dolphin nodded. "They're singing because you found me," he said, "and now they are calling me home." As Daisy and the rabbits waved goodbye to the dolphin, Daisy noticed something fall off its tail into the water. Bending down, she scooped it up, and there, sitting in the palm of her hand, was someone very familiar. "Pinchy," she cried. "What are you doing?" Pinchy looked up at her and clacked his claws together. "My grandfather crab, he told me that riding on a dolphin feels like magic, so I hitched myself a ride." And what did you think? Pinchy raised a claw and clacked it like a castanet. "It's magic, all right," he said. He held out his other claw, and Daisy saw that he was holding a small piece of glass that had been washed smooth by the ocean. "A gift," he said, "for you." Then, with a cry of "Keep dancing, Daisy," he scuttled to the edge out of her hand, jumped into the water, and disappeared beneath the waves. "I wonder what it's for," said Daisy, turning the glass over in her hand. "Maybe it's so you don't forget us when you go home," said Roberta. Daisy stroked her silky ears. "I'll never do that," she said. Then, noticing both rabbits were still shivering, she gathered them up in her arms and took them to a sunny spot next to the cliff path. "The walk home should warm you up," she told them. "But if you're still cold, just remember what Pinchy said. Keep dancing." Raspy and Roberta giggled and hugged Daisy's legs. Then they sat off, dancing and waving until finally they were lost from sight. "I always knew you were a good swimmer," said Dad, wrapping Daisy in a towel. "But I didn't know you were that good." "What do you mean?" asked Daisy. "You looked as though you were riding on a speedboat." Dad chuckled. "The funny thing was it looked like you had a couple of fluffy toys out there with you." Mom packed away the picnic basket and shook her head. "I think your dad's been sitting in the sun too long," she said. "I think he has," said Daisy. "I mean, it's obvious that Raspy and Roberta are rabbits." "Eh?" said Dad. Daisy rolled up her towel and smiled. "Never mind," she said. As they walked back up the beach, she felt the smooth glass in her pocket. "Can we go to the shop?" she asked. "I need to get some presents for my friends." "That's very thoughtful of you," said Mom. "What did you have in mind?" "Carrot juice," said Daisy, "and maybe some hazelnut ice cream." "Those are some interesting choices," said Dad. Daisy smiled. "I've got some interesting friends," she said. And that is it for today. See you next time. Bye.